All right. Today I wanted to just talk about frequency shifter and how to use it to get cool phasing effects. I've got this little operator loop. Okay, so it's just some chords, right? Let's chuck a frequency shifter on there. A frequency shifter takes the incoming frequencies and it shifts them by a set number of hertz. So usually on musical input, it's not going to sound that great because it'll destroy the harmonic relationship between all of the notes. So if you put in an octave of two A notes, let's say, so one at 440 hertz and one at 880 hertz, and you bring both of them up 40 hertz. Well, now you've got 480 hertz and 920 hertz. So now they're no longer harmonically related. So that'll sound pretty weird. So you wouldn't normally use frequency shifter on a musical element, but it's pretty interesting to do it. So if you remember our chords, if we just push the frequency shifter knob, and suddenly it's weird and inharmonic and metallic. So that can be interesting. I really like using fine tuning rather than the main frequency knob, because here, check out what happens with the main frequency knob. Yeah, okay, we've got insects and nothing. So yeah, I tend to use the fine knob. And what we're getting there isn't really usable. But if you just give it a tiny amount, maybe 1 hertz, it's somewhere around there, it's not detectable, the difference. But if we bring the dry wet down, see what happens. So what's happening there is that the frequency shifted signal is being blended with the original signal, and it's creating phase distortions because the signal is out of phase. So if you pull it all the way back to 0, I'll bring it in gradually. I'll bring it up to 50%. So 50% is the most offset that those two signals can get. So that's going to be the most phasey that we can get this to go. All right, so what else can we mess with? The wide button will, if we've offset a positive hertz, the wide button will take a minus hertz on the other channel. We get 2 offset phasing signals, one on the left, one on the right, and we've got our original. So it should sound quite wide and quite phasey. The LFO amount is kind of interesting. You can use it in small amounts to vary the phasing over time. And I'm not going to use it right now because I'm going to show something else. But this, if you bring it to 0, you still get a little bit of phasing. It's not quite sending the exact dry signal through. As you increase the amount of frequency shifting that you've got, the pace of the phasing increases. So I'll start at 0 and I'll just gently wind it up to 20 or so, and you'll be able to hear the difference. So you can hear there it's starting to really rip apart the sound, which is fantastic for effects and making interesting sounds. So when you've got it at quite an intense amount, it's interesting to play with the dry wet as well. Sometimes just a subtle amount is enough to do what you want. Sometimes you don't want the total insanity of 50%. You just want something in the middle to create some movement. Yeah, so that's one way I use frequency shifter to help create some extra phasing changes in sound. So we took our original operator patch, which was pretty boring, and we made it move a little bit more. Cheers.